Hello everybody, welcome to Bitcoin Daily, 9 a.m. Central European time on the dollar, give or take. We do this show every day because we gotta know what's happening in Bitcoin, altcoins, and everything else. We had a big dump yesterday. I think it was like 10% or something like that. Let's check out the final result. 7.67%. It was down something like, 10.44%. But it was down pretty much, big dump from the 46, 47, 48k levels towards the downside. So the big question is whether we were wrong or right, or how this is gonna play out. Yesterday I said that most pain is towards the upside, not towards the downside, because everybody is shorting these levels. And we see right now reason why everybody's shorting the levels. Now there has been some profit taking here down on the downside, the 50 moving average on the daily time frame. The big question is right now whether this is gonna drop down below our support levels, or is this gonna recover over here back into the blue box and over after that, even higher towards the upside. So we're gonna check that. We're gonna look a little bit about moons. We're gonna check out Ethereum as well. We're gonna look at DXY, the dollar index, Bitcoin dominance, ETH BTC chart, and we're also gonna look at a little bit of stock market, whether the stock market is gonna dump down or not, what's happening there, because I haven't checked those charts in a while. How's everybody doing in the chat? Garrett, what's up, man? How you doing? The Beauty, what's up? Dr. Karlov is in the chat. How you doing, man? Selling tops, buying bottoms. Very nice, very nice. Where's the bottom? Asks the Nob. I'm curious to see Monday at the markets open. We really don't care what happened on Monday. But there's that. The weekly time frame is a lot more important up here. We can also check that out because, weekly candles are very, very important. So we're gonna check that out. You should buy a new clock. That's the first one. Yeah, I should buy a new clock. Manto, how you doing, man? There we go, we went through the chat. 20 people here, 21 people here, 13 likes, that's nice. So we can start with the analysis of what's happening in Bitcoin. Of course, Bitcoin is down a bunch, but it did manage to hold the 50 moving average. And if you look here on the indicators, I'm gonna just remove a couple of lines up here. If you look down at the indicators on the 4-hourly time frame, we are a little bit oversold, or we were oversold down here on the RSI 25 RSI, as you can see down here at the bottom. Right now it's still pulling towards downside, but these small time frames RSI, they are not very valid. The other thing that's up here that we can actually see on the MACD is that MACD 4-hourly right now went below the zero line up here, but still 4-hourly. And I always used to say, at least I used to say before, that MACD on the small time frames really does matter because it zigzags so much. There are too many faulty signals, so you should look at MACD at preferably at weekly and monthly time frame, but daily is also good, but weekly and monthly time frame for MACD. So we got a little bit oversold over here. I went all the way down to the bottom of the channel. Right now pulling back, we are below 200 moving average on the 4-hourly time frame, but give or take. And you will see also here on the other side on the daily time frame that we are below the 50 line over here towards the downside. So there is this 50 midline over here on the RSI. We are right now below that. We are a couple of times before lower than that, but you'll see up here these levels up here that we actually dumped over here a couple of times. They also went all the way down to some kind of 45k levels, and right now we are sitting there. We can technically go even lower than that on the daily time frame over here, and that is actually what I'm actually looking at, and we're gonna come back to that in a second and how this might actually play out. And if this actually breaks towards downside, where is the bottom? And then the RSI comes into play. The daily RSI, the weekly RSI, those are the levels that I'm actually looking at. Morning, bro, long time no see. Yeah, Rotten Cheese, wasn't that yesterday you were here in the chat? I don't think that's that much nah, you weren't here yesterday. So on the daily time frame we are still hitting this 50 moving average. We have not broken below the big channel up here. Now we're gonna redraw the channel a little bit over here. Let's go to a chart that doesn't have any kind of lines up here, and we're gonna remove everything from the chart. And right now we can actually draw on the chart. There are a couple of lines up here. Now if you draw this line down here, something like this up here, we still have a lot of room to go down left. And over here there's something like over here, this line up here, this top line, it's still not broken. So even this just this part up here is still not broken. We are still sitting on the support levels. we're still sitting on the support levels, but this line can also be drawn something like this up here, and it does seem like a little bit more G, because you can see this bottom down here, this bottom over here, it actually hit it almost on the dollar, right? So out of this line we can of course create a channel, because every kind of line is a channel technically speaking, right? And you can see up here that we have been at the top of the channel up here right now, pulling back towards the bottom of the channel again. If we invert the chart a little bit over here, you might be asking yourself whether this is gonna, you know, break right now over here towards upside, and I'm a little bit unsure whether that's gonna be the case, even though it can actually happen that this just breaks towards upside over here, or technically towards the downside. But oftentimes if this has been, you know, the regular chart, and this was some kind of dumping pattern over here, because you can see up here how there is some kind of waterfall where we fall down, we fail to break, and we fall down even more, we consolidate up here, we fall down even more. Right now we're pumping, but this pump over here just seems like, you know, the regular, what are you gonna say, the dead cat bounce pump, and then what happens after this move over here, it goes towards downside over here, right? So it tries to, you know, continue going into this direction over here, but oftentimes it, you know, retests certain levels. So if it wants to break towards upside up here, I would assume it's gonna, you know, retest something over here at the upside, because you just saw that, you know, 4-hourly oversold levels are pretty high, and then go into the other direction over here. So if you want to break the channel, and but you know, in our case it's very good because the channel is still intact the way I see it. And if you look at the moving average up here, we are right now holding this 50 moving average. The 50 moving average on the daily time frame is very, very important. I'm just going to remove this line over here, and you'll see up here that, you know, when you are above the 50 moving average, you are some kind of, you can break that, but as long as you know, overall hold those levels, you're actually looking very, very good, right? So we like to be above the 50 moving average on the daily time frame. On the weekly time frame up here, the 50 moving average is even a lot more important. Let me remove everything up here. You'll see up here that once you break the 50 moving average over here, you have a very nice moves towards upside. Over here we had a dump below the 50 moving average on the weekly time frame. That was because of the corona dump. We climbed back above that and continued towards upside. We held that all the way up here towards the top, and once we broke that towards downside, we got rejected over here. We went down here, we came to the 50 moving average over here, we broke the 50 over here, came down to the 50 moving average, right now bouncing again. We had a little bit extend from the 50 moving average, we can see that on the chart over here. Let me just remove these two over here, and this is the overextensions on the 50 moving average. We can just gonna change that and change this to 50 moving average, and right now you'll see that we are a little bit extended on the 50 moving average, but not that much. I mean, we are not in any kind of top up here, just like Jim Cramer would say. Jim Cramer came out yesterday. I posted I showed you the tweet. This is major top. It's not major top because we are not at you know, these very, very high extended levels over here at the top, so we are not quite there yet. But yes, we are definitely hitting some kind of tops up here at right now on the 50 moving average. So we are a little bit extended on the 50 moving average. So are we gonna pull back into, you know, over here towards downside and continue towards upside? That does seem plausible. Again, the channel is not yet broken, and the channel goes something like this over here. The channel is not yet broken, but you know, once this channel breaks down, we are looking for the bottom. We are not quite there yet, but 50 moving average on the weekly time frame, that's what you know. Overall, we are still set to some kind of major top in 2025. It's not this one, I can tell you that. It's not this one, and the biggest reason why it's not this top up here, I mean, I don't see retail. Do you see retail, guys? Do you see mainstream? Is your mom and dad asking you to buy Bitcoin? No, they're not. Not yet. But when they do, it is time to be the top. Now, you know, fortunately for us, this is not the top, and I do want the chart to go towards downside. Don't get me wrong, guys. Yes, I have already invested a lot of money, and I would be happy if it goes towards upside, and it would be very, very nice. But I also want it to go down because I have more money to invest, and I need price to drop down so altcoins can get wrecked and I can buy them. So I'm just like you guys, not like everybody, but you know, I'm like, you know, those guys that are sitting on the sidelines and waiting for a pullback. So I would like pullback regardless, but I do hope that this actually breaks towards upside even more and then have a pullback after that, because it really does matter. Really does matter, because on the pullback there will be buying, more buying. So when pullback comes, whether that's gonna come right now over here, or when this is just gonna, you know, consolidate over here, break up here, go, you know, even higher than that, then have a pullback, you know, it really does matter. The pullback is the buying, you know, opportunity, and the pullback will be bought when that eventually happens. Right now a little bit extend on the time frames. Still in the channel, still holding this 50 moving average, and right now comes the question of whether this is gonna be the bottom. 4 hourly, like we just said. Let's go up here. 4 hourly time frame overextend on the downside. Daily is not overextended, but it is breaking towards downside. Now, what I can show you when it comes to RSI is that RSI oftentimes on the daily time frame bottoms at 30k levels on some kind of bottoms, right? So let's go to another chart over here that we can then clean up the moving average so you can see this very nicely. So what I can show you up here is that the bottoms are at 30k levels. So over here you can see down these 30k levels. That was some kind of bottom. I mean, you still continued sideways, but that was pretty much the bottom, right? So these 30k levels on the RSI, they are pretty much indicative of some kind of bottom, right? Over here there was bottom over here, 30k 30 RSI down here also when we had capitulation, and then you had a couple of more bottoms over here, right? But this continued in some kind of move. But but we have to look at the bottoms, these 30k levels, when we are going towards upside. So this move over here does not count because these moves can overshoot 30k levels. They can continue lower because this is bear market, this is bull market. So when we are looking at RSI, we are trying to find, once the price climbs towards upside, these bottoms towards downside, how far do they go on the RSI, right? So this is the bull market, so we are checking that. And you can see also here in the bull market, this is the bull market over here. You'll see up here a couple of times that we did hit those 30k levels. What is it up here? 30k levels over here. It's not all, 33k level up here on the pullback down there. There was this Corona dump over here, and then over here just after this previous move down here we had this one. We continue sideways a little bit lower than that, and then hit the 30k levels here again a couple of times. But every single time that was some kind of very very tiny move towards downside where we were hitting the bottoms, right? So if this pulls back towards downside, what I'm looking for is these 30k levels on the daily time frame. So right now you can see up here that we are not on 30k levels, we are sitting at 45k levels. So if this continues towards downside, I'll be looking to time the bottom. First of all, this is just one of the indications that it might be the bottom, or buy the dip to opportunity. That's when this comes very, very close to the 30k levels. Whether it's going to be 33 or 26, so in this range over here, that's what I'm looking. If this continues, if this continues over here breaking towards downside, I will be looking to getting down to 30k levels and then buying those levels. The same thing goes for the weekly time frame. Look at the weekly time frame up here. There are some buying opportunities, and buying opportunities does not come all the way down at 30k levels, because right now we are in the bull market, so we should not pull back below the 50 moving below the 50 line over here on the RSI. We should pull back to the 50 line, give or take, right? So you can see this here previously up here. Once you start going towards upside up here, give or take somewhere over here, you'll see that let's do this chart on logarithmic chart so you can see this easier. Over here, something like this. There we go. You can see up here, once we start going towards the upside up here, I mean, we don't pull back below this line up here until the very top. Once the tops come, then you break the line and then you continue towards downside into the bear market. The same thing goes for this part over here. Once you break the 50 level lines over here towards downside, you do pull back, but you don't pull back all the way towards the 30 line. You just pull back something like 50 levels over here and just continue towards the upside, right? The same thing goes over here for this bull market over here. We did pull back over here to some kind of 50k levels, even had a overextension down here to 40k levels, and then started going towards upside, which I still saying that I believe this was actually the move that was actually gonna take us towards the top, but because of the corona we actually overshoot that towards downside, climbed back above the 50 levels, held that 50 levels and went all the way towards the top. And the same thing is happening right now, even though with some kind of overshooting below the 50 levels. If we go towards downside, I'm again looking at these 50 levels to be the bottom again, before the last part of the towards upside. It doesn't have to be 50 levels, it can be between 50 and 60 levels up here. It just has to pull back towards the downside. And I do believe there is a case, very good case to be made, that this is going to happen again. When, I don't know, maybe this is time, maybe it's going to go a little bit higher before it pulls back. We don't know. We still have 3 more months until the halvening. Halvening is happening on the 17th of April. So we got still time. If we pull back over here, it might be, just before the halvening. If we pump over here a little bit more towards downside and pull up here, I mean, we still have time whether we pump or dump over here to do the pullback, right? So how this actually plays out, we don't actually know, but you know, if it does pullback and when pullback eventually comes, even you know, it might already be happening. We are looking for these moves back down to the to reset these big time frames and go a little bit towards downside. Over here again, the blue box is still intact. We did not break the blue box. We came into the blue box, and I do believe blue box more than the Fibonacci levels. Over here you can see up here, this was a Fibonacci level. I explained this yesterday, and why we you know, why I still don't believe in Fibonacci. I mean, some people might actually believe that, you know, Fibonacci levels are legit because of this week towards the upside, but I mean, look at the box, man. Who do you believe more? Do you believe the box, or do you believe this 1 week towards upside towards the Fibonacci level? Just saying. That said, the blue box, we are out on the bottom side. Blue box, they actually managed to push the price towards downside, but you know, it's all good and dandy. The other thing that we might actually laugh about, but you know, it is the case right now, give or take. Over here on the 8 hourly, you can see at 8 hourly, the moons. We had a new moon dump, unfortunately, guys. We pumped on the new moon very high, and then it start dropping from the new moon. So the only thing we can conclude right now is until the next full moon, there is no stopping of the dump. But I thought it was interesting that we dumped on the dollar on the full moon. So, you know, new moon. So there is that. Ethereum actually is also hitting my target as well. You can see the blue box. The blue box has been hit for a while, and the blue box is getting hit as well, and it hit it very nicely. We came into the blue box. We can go into a little bit small time frames up here. For our time frames, you can see here we hit it a couple of times, failed to do that. We broke the trend over here, this last part of the trend right now pulling back. Not only that, we broke the 20 moving average right now, doing this curvature up here. It does look bad. So if Ethereum does look bad, maybe Bitcoin is looking bad as well. But when it comes to Ethereum, even though you pull back over here, you're still above, you know, you're still above the control zone, or whatever you want to call this over here. You're still above the moving average, you're still above the midline. I mean, the pullback is very natural because this move up here went very, very fast, right? So over here on the weekly time frame, you'll see that, you know, we just, you know, bounced off the 10 moving average. So some kind of consolidation up here is going to happen. Bitcoin chart is looking as well very, very nicely, like we saw yesterday. We did this double bottom, even though this first theory was again this one. The second was that it's gonna be double bottom, which actually failed over here, and it did this, you know, sharp spring towards the upside up here again. So you know, basically the theory was, you know, intact, and it's still playing out very nicely. I think it's gonna try to retest this level up here, zigzag, but eventually the next move towards upside, when Bitcoin goes, Ethereum will break the resistance, and once that happens, Ethereum is going to be a lot more volatile than Bitcoin, and it will outperform Bitcoin big time. So I think the Bitcoin part might be done, because Ethereum right now did this move over here. So the only thing we can right now conclude or assume is that whether this move happens or that this move happens, any kind of move after any kind of pullback, I think once it starts going towards upside again, it won't go as fast as Ethereum and altcoins. So I do believe that, you know, Ethereum and altcoins will outperform Bitcoin eventually. Bitcoin dominance up here minus 10%. It's got rejected 3 times right now here at the top. 1, 2, 3 times up here rejection, and like we said that you know, this move up here towards upside might come to some kind of resistance over here, or might even go a little bit higher up here, but overall it is breaking the trend. This was the very steep trend for Bitcoin, and then it, you know, slowed the trend, and it still was going towards upside up here, or, you know, failed to go higher, and right now I think it's gonna break over here towards downside. So this means that altcoins are gonna outperform Bitcoin. So even when Bitcoin dumps, Bitcoin's gonna dump more than altcoins. If Bitcoin pumps, altcoins are gonna pump more than Bitcoin, as long as this actually goes towards downside, because then you are changing trend again, and the trend is gonna be something like this over here, give or take. Maybe it does something like this over here. Maybe it's even steeper than that over here, something like this, and start going towards downside. But it is changing the trend. Not only that, the theory was before that Bitcoin, because I don't know how to analyze the market cap chart, so I was looking at the, you know, previous top up here, 200 moving average over here on the chart. Let's just remove these other lines. 200 moving average, you can see here we came that, and we just zigzagged towards downside. We had this big pump up here, but eventually, you know, it went down. And the same thing goes right over here right now. We are just zigzagging above the 100 line. There might come some kind of, you know, pump up here on Bitcoin on the last move, and then, you know, sharply towards downside eventually, right? But you know, the precision of the 200 moving average and how this actually plays out, I don't know. But you know, the theory was it's gonna do like, you know, this move. So it's still intact and still doing that, so there is that. The DXY over here on the small time frames, daily time frames up here, looks like it wants to break towards the upside up here. I'm a little bit unsure whether it's going to be the case or not, but you know, it still looks like it wants to break towards the upside. There is this channel that's been going towards downside, and when it comes to DXY is very channel prone. I mean, it follows channels very nicely until it breaks the channel, comes back inside this channel over here. You can see up there, maybe it goes something like this over here, give or take, but it is very you know, very channel prone. And just a little bit back, and right now it does look like it might have a nice move over here towards upside. We're gonna see how much, but it does look like it's breaking towards upside. There is something bearish on the channel over here, and the fact that we actually managed to touch the bottom of the channel up here again, I'm thinking this can do another move up here before it actually breaks towards downside. So if you try over here breaking, I think still gonna go towards downside, because bullish channels, they don't do the last touch all the way to the bottom, right? They do this move over here and then go towards upside, right? And if does this second touch over here, it pulls back and then comes back to over here or over here somewhere, and then breaks towards upside and goes towards upside. So this over here is actually quite bearish. The fact that they actually went all the way down to the bottom of the channel, it's actually looks like quite bearish. Quite bearish in the short term, because in the short term you can just pull back a little bit. It can continue towards upside, but eventually I would still regard this as actually a bearish move. So DXY is still in downtrending channel, although it does look like it might actually start breaking towards upside. Let me look at this on the weekly time frame over here. Maybe you can draw some kind of nicer channels on this. Let me go over here and see whether there is a nicer channel, maybe something like this up here, give or take. Yeah, so it looks like maybe it's still in the channel if we adjust the lines a little bit up here. So I still believe that, you know, it might actually go a little bit towards downside. Again, I'm not big on DXY versus Bitcoin you know, correlation. So, you know, I really don't believe that, you know, for whatever reason, if this goes towards downside and Bitcoin has to go towards upside, I don't believe that. But, you know, I know a lot of people are watching these DXY charts, so, you know, there's that. I still believe that this is a little bit bearish, and we need to see how this plays out. On the weekly time frame also, we are getting this, you know, big pump over here with a doji at the top, and this doji at the top might actually pull us towards downside again, like we said, because this over here, the fact that we actually hit the bottom of the channel tells me that, you know, this move towards downside actually might happen. Now, if you do believe that DXY pulling towards downside means Bitcoin pumping, that means that, you know, this chart over here has more room towards upside, right? This chart over here has more room towards upside, so we're gonna see that. But I'm not really big on the DXY. The channels for the moves for S&P 500. S&P 500 is hitting. Let's go to the monthly time frame up here. It actually broke the all-time high resistance up here. It's creating monthly doji up here at the top. Still got something like, you know, 2 weeks left, so, you know, we cannot say that this doji is gonna play out. I mean, if there was like 3 days left or something like that, we might actually conclude something, but right now it's very hard to conclude anything on the weekly time frame. On the monthly time frame, not only that, there is no divergence up here on the monthly time frame either. The momentum is still going towards the upside, so it does look very bullish. Now, if this does break towards upside, you might see some very nice moves on stock market. Not only that, but if this pulls back or consolidates over here before the breaking the all-time high over here towards the upside, it will correspond to Bitcoin April halving, right? So this line is Bitcoin halving, right? So if we consolidate over here and then Bitcoin comes and, you know, goes towards upside with market, like everything can actually pump at the same time. It does look very nice, because, you know, this channel, you know, consolidating up here and then breaking over here all-time high eventually after a halving, you know, then you have both, you know, stock market pumping, Bitcoin pumping, gold, solar, you know, DXY dumping, you know, meme coins pumping. You will have everything pumping after a halving. So it might be just the greatest pump ever in the history of the pumps, because everything might actually pump at the same time if it does that, right? If it does that. But it is at the resistance level, so, you know, there is that. Will it, you know, break this resistance level right now or at later point? I don't know. But it is at resistance level, and it is very hard to break the resistance level. So I think it needs to consolidate over here a little bit before it actually goes. It can go, but I think it needs to consolidate. It might take time. It might take time. Most graphs correlate with total crypto market trends. What do you think about Sand? Bjornar is back in the chat. How you doing, man? Long time no see. What do I think about Sand? The same thing I think about Ape. I bought what I thought was bottom, and it just kept bleeding towards downside. I haven't checked the chart for a long time, but let's wait a little bit. We can check that out. The same thing is I don't know if the same thing goes for the Dow Jones. Dow Jones over here. The Dow Jones is actually already breaking the trend up here towards the upside. Where is the trend? Maybe something like this. Doesn't matter. There we go. It went into this, box over here, and right now it's breaking again towards downside. So as long as this month it doesn't pull back all the way inside the channel, I think we get up here. Then consolidate over here just like S&P 500 and continue towards the upside. And of course, the stocks of the trend stocks, the technological stocks are actually doing very, very nicely. Also no RSI on the monthly time frame up here for the Nasdaq. The momentum is going towards upside. Everything looks nice. There is no divergence on the chart, and the trend up here is actually very steep and very bold, and it has more room towards upside. But how much it's gonna take to get up there, maybe even break this towards upside, we don't know. But it does look okay. It does look okay. This pullback up here as well, it does look okay. So stock market is doing well, although it looks stoppish. Bitcoin is doing well, although it looks stoppish. Ethereum is doing well, although it looks stoppish. So everything looks well, but it looks stoppish. So the thing that you can say is that maybe the pullback is the most likely, most probable thing. But I'm not gonna go away from the thing that I said, that I think the most pain will be up here, because everybody shorted these levels. Everybody's fear right now is selling down bottom. So I think that right now that everybody's fear, I think we might do another move towards upside up here and then go towards downside. Still that here my idea is still standing strong, that we might do another move towards upside, maybe some kind of 58 levels, and then pull back towards the second box up here. But whether we're gonna do that or not, so we gotta trust the TA, and the TA right now says resistance levels, uptrending consolidation. Once we break that, it's pretty much over. We haven't broken it yet, but we are very, very close. Let me check out gold, because I haven't watched gold in a while over here, and the gold is still in this crappy channel, whatever this is. Let me go to a higher time frame, because gold is so slow. Gold is so slow, and gold up here, no, it's more like this over here. It's some kind of very, very sideways channel part. No, it's not this one. It's all the way down here. Something like this, give or take. It's a bigger channel for gold. Yeah, it's hitting this midline over here. But it is at resistance. I've been at this resistance for a while right now. I mean, it's been at this resistance for a while. So hard to say what's gonna happen with gold next. Silver consolidating. Silver and gold, they don't move much. They move a little bit, but they don't move much. And there's that. The last thing we check out is sand, because of Bjornar. If I can find sand on my chart. Where is, let's just do it like this. Sand USDT. There we go, Binance chart sand. This monthly time frame hit the 200 moving average, pulling back down to the 10 moving average over here. It still haven't broken this major level of consolidation, so it's still doing the consolidation, accumulation part up here in the bottom. Yes, it pumped up here and right now pulling back towards backside, but eventually once this level is broken 0.72, it's gonna go like hard. I mean, you can see that, it's gonna happen, right? And everything right now is doing this pullback over here right now, waiting for next. So this was the initial move up here outside of this bottom consolidation, right now pulling back, and then it gets out of the big consolidation, and then we pump towards the upside, right? But the pullback is happening on all altcoins right now. But the pullback is happening on all altcoins. But I think this 0.73, 0.72 line is most important when it comes to sand. So I can tell you for a fact, it's not a fact, but you know, it is a good, you know, judgment. We are not at the top yet. There is no major top. It might be some kind of topish top, but it's not major top. Altcoins have not you know, gone towards the top and, you know, died. They are just getting out of the first phase of accumulation, and you know, it's gonna be good times eventually. It's gonna be good times eventually, and we got time. But it is closing in, guys. It is closing in. The bull market is closing in, and 2024 and start of 2025 are gonna be very, very volatile and very, very nice. This is just the starting phase, right? We are not even we have not even passed the halving yet, and after every halving there is a major moves towards upside, and we have less than a year left. So from now until next year, yeah, we got a year left, give or take. I mean, 1 year is not that long time, guys. 1 year is not that long time, right? This over here, what is it up here, give or take? This over here is 1 year, right? This over here is 1 year. This is just 1 year move towards upside. You know, if you remember back in previous January, the entire move up here, we are right now at the top, right? That's how long time it's gonna take. That's how long time it's gonna take. And this box up here, you know, give or take up here, you know, there is some top up here. And this time will pass, guys. This time will pass eventually, and we will be at some kind of top. And you know, it's gonna be good times. I think 2024 is gonna be very good for us. I hope for a pullback over here, because I need to buy. I would like also the pump, so I can tell everybody that everybody was wrong and I was right. And then a pullback, because I still have to buy. Regardless, the pullback needs to come here or there. Some kind of, you know, fear pullback where everybody, you know, capitulates and we buy. The blue balls buy. I don't understand in general why they pump billions in a coin to not even hold it for 24 hours. Oh, you mean the ETFs? Yeah, I don't know what's happening there, so I won't try to analyze it. I'm a little bit, you know, a little bit on the side when it comes to that, but there is that. Guys, enjoy the day. The channel is not broken, although it does look bad. So we're gonna see if this. I think if this is gonna come, if this is gonna continue pumping, I think today and tomorrow it needs to break the 50 moving average up here. Oh, there is one more chart that we need to check out. The CME futures chart. CME futures chart up here dumped something like 6%, but this was on Friday. Yeah, that was yesterday. Dumped to below 10-20 moving average. It did not go even down to 50 moving average up here. Weekly time frame is still in a strong trend. The weekly time frame is still in a strong trend, but it is a little bit steep trend with a double top up here at the bottom. So you got a steep trend up here with a divergence on the top. Momentum loss towards upside. This does, you know, when you look at this chart, this does actually look like it's gonna drop towards the downside, guys. Not gonna lie, on this chart, this looks like it's gonna drop on the downside. So, you know, next week might be very much, you know, buy the fear kind of events. So, you know, watch for that. But this chart looks a little bit different than Bitcoin. And this chart, it does look like, you know, let me see the volume as well. The volume is going just sideways up here, a little bit towards the downside. Volume is not telling us much over here. Let's go this 3-day chart. Yeah, but the momentum up here. Let me see Bitcoin 3-day chart. Yeah, Bitcoin is also, I mean, there was divergence up here at the top. Is there a divergence up here? There is no divergence between these two levels. There is no divergence up here. There's no divergence. It looks shady. All I'm gonna say. Thank you for watching Bitcoin Daily. You know what to do on the way out. And I will see. I invested some while it was dropping to get in a good position with a small loss. I'll see you tomorrow, or maybe later today. Something, you know, interesting happens. It's gonna be after 8 o'clock. In that case, hope you had a nice watch. I'll see you around, guys. Take care. You know, buy the dip until 2025. It is still buy the dip opportunity. You know, for long holders, not for traders, you know, long holders, the way I see it, not financial advice, but I believe that until 2025, it is still buy the dip event. So if you look at a Bitcoin chart, you will see these dips. Every single dip was buy the dip event. And I think that's going to be the case, you know, for 2024 as well. Enjoy it, guys. See you later at 37k, maybe. Bye bye.